Good morning, everyone. Going live here on all channels in my office car. I'm safe and secure, but I wanted to tell you that um, today's live is about she needed to hear this, and so do you. So, a lot of you know that I spend a significant amount of time mentoring. That mentoring is, I posted here recently, is mission critical. So I want to share with you that what every single one of us needs to share to that little girl. Every single one of us has a little girl. And of course, men, boys have little boys, but we're going to talk to her. We're going to talk to her, not you necessarily, but your younger you. And I've often thought about little Diana, what little Diana needed to know, what little Diana needed to feel in order for her to understand that she was enough. And so today, the conversation is about her. So, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put my glasses on. And as I normally do, for those of you who do, you get our weekly downloads every single week, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9 a.m. We share a message with you. And it's critical. It is critical that you receive messages like this so that you can understand how to proceed in life, how you can find your path to purpose and connection, and do the great work that you're supposed to be doing in your corporate role. And these weekly downloads are going to help you do that. So, what I want to do is I want to read a little bit of it from you. And by the way, we're going to post a link for you to be able to sign up to receive these weekly downloads. And of course, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9 a.m., I go live because I want to connect with you all. I want to connect with you all. I'm thinking about you. And of course, excuse my voice, I'm on the side of the road because I'm driving and I'm committed to every single Monday, Wednesday, and Friday going live. So I pull over, get my little office car situated, and here we are. So I'm going to pull and read this out to you. And here's what I want you to know something, right? You don't have to prove yourself to be loved. Let me repeat. You don't have to prove yourself to be loved. You don't have to prove yourself to be loved by your kids. You don't have to prove yourself to be loved by your parents. You don't have to prove yourself to be loved by your family, anyone. So I want to share that with you. And then I'm going to read to you this beautiful writing. And then I want to talk to you a little bit. So I want to say that this email is dedicated to the one who used to dream big. This is to the little girl who spoke without fear, who believed in magic before the world told her otherwise. She's still there, right? And she's waiting. She's waiting for you to hear her, remind her that she was never too much and never too loud and never unworthy. Today, I want you to speak to her, okay? I want you to speak to this young girl who's inside of you, who needs to know that she's not too much, for her to know that she is exactly where she needs to be. So I want you to say this because so many people I know, it doesn't matter if you're 50 years old, 60 years old, 80 years old, a lot of women and men, but I'm going to speak to corporate women here. Like, we never, ever heal that younger child. We never, ever understand that young girl still needs to know that she's okay. So, and part of the reason why I mentor the way that I do is that you don't have to earn love. Like, I realize a lot of people think that they have to work really hard to earn the trust, earn love. And that just means no one ever taught you when you were younger that you don't have to prove yourself to be loved. So that's the reason why You need to hear this. And I do too, right? She, meaning me, I needed to hear this, and so do you. So here's what I want to tell you, and this again is in our downloads. Here's the facts. For far too long, you sought validation. You sought approval, a sign that you belonged, right? So here's the thing, and I want to break this down for you. How many of you feel as though if someone sees you, someone acknowledges the work that you do, that you then feel that you belong? Like you have to earn it. You see what I'm talking about? Like when you flip the switch and realize that you don't have to earn the fact that you belong because you just belong, right? It's not something that you have to have someone say, okay, check, you're approved, you belong. No, you just have to intuitively know that you belong, right? Because then, and it is human nature to want to be loved. It's human nature to want to feel a sense of connection. I mean, absolutely. Who does not want to feel that? We all want to feel that. But what I am telling you is that in order for you to know that you belong, you have to intuitively know that. And you probably were never taught that in your younger years, right? Because you were busy trying to earn the love from the people who should have just naturally given it to you. Like, here's the example I want to share with you that and this is something that was in our family. And I don't just know that my family even knew that this was happening, but that when people did well, like they, perhaps won a game, or they were a champion, or they were well known in their communities in getting awards and recognition. That was like, wow, amazing. And it was more so that they earned a certain status of recognition and love. It wasn't like, and I just love you just because of who you are. That's what I saw. And that's what I witnessed. And because of the trauma I grew up with in, having a very traumatic father and mom that loved us, but she was gone a lot, I just noticed that if I stood out and I did really, really well in class and my grades and and everything else, that maybe they would look at me and maybe they would see me and maybe they would love me. You see how deeply ingrained this is, right? And this is something that happens, and it doesn't stop there. It continues through adulthood. So what I want you to do is I want you to embrace her. I want you to embrace that little girl and embrace yourself. Because when you heal her, and let her know that she's safe, you set yourself free. Let me repeat. When you heal that little girl, right? And I'm saying that it's a process to say she's okay, right? Because there's this protection that you have of her in your adult life. And I don't care. Don't tell me that, oh, well, I'm so established. I have such a high status. I have a PhD. I have a law degree. I have written several dissertations. I speak internationally. But you aren't healed. And so therefore you repeat patterns of hurting without consciously knowing that you're hurting. And you repeat patterns of hurting yourself without knowing that you're doing that. So I want to share that with you because this is what we talk about in the Rise Advocates Academy. And the one thing that I've come to realize is, I was wondering, like, I know that God gave me the vision and the mission to want to heal her. And that is the reason I have to sidebar. This is the reason why the Wicked movie was so popular, because Elphaba, if you watch the Wicked movie, Elphaba was doing exactly what we do in the Rise Advocates Academy, right? She became free. Elphaba became free when she started to understand that that young girl needed some attention, right? That young girl inside of her. And that young girl's hurt and harm traveled into her adulthood, and it stopped her from being who she was supposed to be. That's all the Rise Advocates Academy is all about, right? It's establishing a level of awareness of her and what she needed to hear. So, for those of you who aren't interested in working on those kinds of things, you're right. The Rise Advocates Academy is likely not for you. For those of you who are interested in really reconciling yourself with the free young girl who was able to dream, imagine, and do great things and be innovative and creative, and who was able to just soar, if you're interested in doing those kinds of things in your adult life, beyond your title, beyond what you see in the four corners of your life, right? Utilizing what I call authentic intelligence inside of you. If you are interested in that, that's what we do in the Rise Advocates Academy. And I keep telling everyone, we are not playing around when it comes to your life. We are not playing around. And I'm going to tell you something, that when you get very clear and you start to heal her, what you start doing is you start living out your assignment, right? Because, and I'm just going to give an example of something, right? Just in this moment right now, because I'm so committed to doing the work that I'm doing, it's because I've healed her. And I realized that I've got to keep showing up every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 9 a.m. I got to keep being persistent. I got to keep being visible so that you guys can know that there's hope and freedom, right? And it doesn't matter if there is no one here on this live, because at this moment, no one is. But I know that when I keep putting this message out here, it's going to reverberate. It's going to get to the people that it's supposed to get to in the time that it's supposed to get to it. So I just want to share this message with you because you must understand, again, that you don't have to prove yourself to be loved. In your adult life, I think a lot of people are sweating people's affirmation. They cannot go to sleep at night because they aren't able to get over what someone said about them or what they think someone said about them. And so they cannot, function in their adult lives. Some people are so stressed and anxious because they feel like they have to prove themselves in order to be loved or to actually be, in the position that they are. Don't get me wrong. Yes, you have to do your job, right? If you have a job and you have to do your job, I'm not saying that you don't have to do your job. What I'm telling you is that you don't have to prove yourself to feel a sense of connection or feel a sense of belonging, right? Even inclusion, right? It's like this inclusion, and this is something I know I'm going to have to spend some time on. This is not the live for that, but I do want to put this out there that to feel a sense of inclusion, you already have to feel like you're included. Don't get me wrong. I understand that there are things people have to do in the workplace in order to make people feel like they belong and included. Yes, absolutely. However, you have to feel that sense first, because often we have some internal dialogues and internal stories that disallow us to be free in environments that don't look like us. Or if, say, for instance, there's something that's happening and you, because of your past childhood, you don't feel as though people are seeing you because you're triggered. And I don't want that to happen to you. So I want to close this live. I'm going to keep it short and brief today, but I want you to make certain to a couple of things. You have to stay encouraged. You have to know that you matter. And you have to know and be around, be in a community of people who are preaching this kind of message, who are sharing things with you like this, so that you can stay inspired. You can stay encouraged. I know I'm not the only woman on this earth. You will feel this message. You will hear this message because I am speaking to you. 100,000 to you